Hello, Mr. Ebner. This is Jonah and Key doing our humble inquiry conversation. Assignment number one. Like I mentioned, I'm talking to Key Tran today. If you want to go ahead and introduce yourself again.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. My name is Key Tran. I'm currently taking my MBA at St. Ambrose, and I'm graduating in May. Currently, assistant manager at Enterprise Mobility. I got a background in marketing. I had like 5 years experience in marketing, and currently doing like sales and customer service for like 2-3 years now.
Nice. Alrighty. Jump into this conversation today with Mr. Key. I just want to ask you a couple of questions. My first question would be, what is your employment right now? Where are we working at?
Oh yeah, so we both work at Enterprise Record. I've been working for like 2 years already. So to be honest, Enterprise Mobility is a really fast-paced working environment that requires you have like a really high like ability to adapt to the working environment, because it's like fast-paced working environment. You have to deal with a lot of things every day. You have to be resilient, strong leadership skill, problem solving, multitasking. So it's been really great, but it's really helpful for like new graduates, like after they graduate from school. So this is a really great place for them to start at.
Yeah, awesome. And have you had a lot of good experiences working at Enterprise?
Yes, a lot of good and bad experiences as well, because we have to deal with a lot of customers every day.
Yeah, of course. So just kind of summarizing that: strong, fast-paced, resilient, gotta be built for the job almost, and you've been, good and bad days there. So good to hear about that, Key, with your employment there. I guess another question coming at you: I know you're kind of in the program, the MOL/MBA program. What is like kind of your take on adaptive challenges and adaptive leadership?
Nice question. So I would say like a lot of people like misunderstand this concept between adaptive challenge and technical challenge. Because like to me, adaptive challenge is something, it's really hard and takes time for the team to identify. So with like technical challenge, it's so easy to observe and figure out like what's going on. But with adaptive challenge, it takes a lot of effort and time to define and solve the problem.
Yeah.
It's more like long term than short term.
Yeah, of course, long-term, short-term. Yeah. Are you facing any sort of like adaptive technical challenges in the workplace at all right now at Enterprise, or just your experience there?
To be honest, like there's a lot of changes at Enterprise recently.
Yeah.
But one big change that comes to my mind right now is like the technology enhancement. So back then we have a system called unit services to control our fleet. But we changed to game plan right now, which is a really big move for Enterprise.
Yeah.
So we have a new system, a lot of things new to learn. So back then with the unit services system, we can only control our fleet. Like you can see like how many cars we have in the fleet, but it's really hard to control how many unrentables that you have, how many rentables that you have in your fleet, so that you can manage the reservations that you should have for the day better. With a game plan system, the new system, you should be able to see a lot of new things.
Yeah.
You can see like let's say how many cars you have at Firestone for oil change, how many cars you have at CarX for like check engine light, something like that. So you have a bigger picture of your fleet so that you can manage your fleet better. Yeah. So since we got the new system, for sure when we first got the new system, a lot of people was kind of confused because the old system been like using for like 10 years already.
Yeah.
People are like used to the old system, so when we changed to the new system, they got like a lot of difficulties and obstacles.
Yeah.
They have to restart everything all over again, have to learn how to use the new system. A lot of things happened.
So kind of what I'm hearing is, unit services, that old system you used, kind of a slower type of data there. You're nitpicking every car, looking for certain things on that. But with the new one, you said, or game plan, right?
Yeah,
game plan, yeah. Game plan is much easier to navigate. I think the only challenge I'm hearing right now is just the people that you work with are kind of adjusting to that new, technology-based, up-to-date, game plan. Could you tell me like a day in your life of just like using that in the workplace? Like what things have changed from your day at Enterprise from unit services to game plan? Is there any like that sticks out to you at all, or?
Like every like new technology enhancement, they have like pros and cons, right?
Yeah.
And then for a big company like Enterprise, they did a lot of research before they launch a new program. So back then with unit services, you can only access when you're at the store, computer only. so you cannot get
Okay.
access on your phone. Like, yeah, it's kind of like flexibility, and then nowadays with a game plan, you can access on your computer, on the company laptops, on a manager can access on their phone as well. So even if you're not at the branch, you can definitely like control the fleet, and then because like sometimes manager cannot be at the branch like 24/7. So sometimes they need help, so the manager just put up their phone, go on a game plan, see how many cars they have right now. They can just like if they need car, they just like move around, and it's so easy.
Yeah.
Compared to like the past, they have to go back to the branch, turn on a computer, and then it's took a lot of effort and
Yeah.
time. So I would say like with a new technology game plan, it's more like user friendly, and then you can use on your phone, a lot of flexibility there. So.
Yeah. Is there any sort of software from the unit services that's different from the game plan? Like, did they add any more things from unit services to game plan that are different, or?
Yeah, a lot of new features like I mentioned before, like it was really hard to control like unrandables on unit services.
Yeah.
But right now in game plan, you are able to see how many percentage that you have like unrandable, check engine light, oil change. It like categorize the mechanic issues, body damage. So it's so easy for you to follow up with vendors because you know like. It takes forever for a vendor to shop a car. Yeah, so you know exactly like when you go through the vendor, so you can follow up with them. So it's easier and then quicker. Yeah.
More communicative. Just coming off of that great explanation you had, I just wanted to ask about, you mentioned earlier about your employees kind of adjusting from that unit services to game plan. Can you elaborate on that a little bit for me?
Yeah, for sure, because like I have a lot of employees that have been working for enterprise for 5-6 years, so they kind of used to the old system, which is unit services. So when they launched the new program, the first thing that I did, I personally joined a lot of training sessions with our corporate team to make sure that I understand the way that the new system worked. And then I did a lot of like weekly training with my team to walk them through how to use the system effectively, so that if they have any questions, I would just like help them out right away.
Alrighty, well, just to summarize the conversation, Key, from beginning to end, we had a great explanation about how adaptive challenges and technical challenges are two different things. Adaptive challenges are harder to find, technical, easier, not out front. So definitely that adaptive challenge from that technology that's evolving around us, is really impacting enterprise. Sounds like in a good way too, so good to hear. And good and bad way as well. You mentioned about the company culture and how you're being a good leader when it comes to helping your team get from that unit services to game plan. Also the fact that game plan, it doesn't just affect the cars on the road, or the cars in the fleet, but like the marketing aspect, like seeing it's more in front of you. You don't have to scramble for numbers or answers. It's all on one page. That's a good thing to have in a business like that. And then especially like you mentioned, like your days earned, get more cars on the road, more car availability. You can fleet plan better. Definitely good to hear from that. Especially like I mentioned about the leadership part. I'm glad you're being a good leader at Enterprise, and sounds like you have a good culture over there. So.
One last thing. So as a leader, always remind yourself, you always be ready for new change, and always be willing to help your team get adapted to new changes as a leader. So inspiration.
Especially in a world like today where technology is evolving like crazy. So, everyone's got adaptive challenges or adaptive leadership roles as well in a situation like that. And a great example, like you mentioned, at Enterprise, technology, you need technology to do the business from my standpoint and from Key's too. So definitely hearing about that and your experiences there. Company culture, like I mentioned, sounds like it's the whole team's working together. Some employees are newer, some are older, so you're kind of getting that mix of everyone's at a different spot. So it sounds like you're managing that pretty good. So great conversation with you, Keith. Thank you for joining me.
It's my pleasure.